everybody. Welcome to Bound to Truth. This is Christopher J. Lopez and
your favorite jackass, Jonathan Hershey.
Jonathan. Good to hear your voice here today on
Yeah,
this
it's been a
podcast.
while.
Everybody, if I'm sounding congested because I've been sick for a while, John can attest to that, even though he's been
Yeah,
need to go to different areas in danger.
he's been working too much behind that Winco parking lot dumpster, so he's
You know
got a
what?
lot of phlegm.
I told you that in confidence, man. Ever since my divorce, I've
it's
had it
it's
really. Okay. We talked about this, and that was your idea, by the way. And you get 10%.
Hey, is it not? Are you not making good money? I mean, you're getting a lot of tips, if
Well,
you know what I mean.
why don't I just call you my pip and get you a chalice?
That's what I have right here. It's called my pip
Oh my
glass.
oh my goodness. So everybody, we have a great show for you tonight. We're excited to be here. Before we get into it, we got to get down to the business. And of course, is again, how do you reach us? How do you subscribe to us? We are on Spotify, we are on Apple, we are on YouTube, we are on X, we are on Facebook, we are on Buzzsprout. Hit the subscribe button. The more subscribers, the bigger the platform for you and all your voices to talk about your experiences, and definitely get your thoughts and theories and really hear you out. For example, we have somebody who's going to be with us this weekend named Charla, Friday night at 7:30, and she's got some great stories and experiences that I had a great conversation pre-interview with her, and amazing heart, free spirited, and just had just a great time talking with her. I think you're going to enjoy that interview. So again, we want you to be part of that, just like her and other people in the past that we've had on the show. And also, John, what do you got to tell us about something new that you've been getting more deep into in regards to lights?
Well, I have been using a very specific product for a long time, and I know that if there's anybody out there that are gun fanatics or even just this, that, and blah blah blah, they're gonna go, "Oh, no, I don't like that company. They're just an expensive hand grenade." But let me tell you something about Olight real quick. That joke about back when they first started, when that battery exploded, it was not because of the light. It was because of cheap batteries. So we'll go beyond that. And Surefire, if you're listening, anybody that actually works for them, I like your products, but I love Olight. So guys, if you have never heard of Olight, I'm going to provide Mr. Lopez here a link. And
Mm-hmm.
that link is going to bring you directly to my choices, ones that I use daily, every day. And you can ask Chris, like I was just playing with my spheres a little bit ago, and I was just playing with another one here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh God. Oh gosh, no wonder my wife is mad at me. I got probably 20, 25 of their flashlights. And each and every one of them I use for something specific. I have ones that are in my car. I have ones that I carry with me every day. I literally have one in my pocket right now that I meant to put on the charger, and I'm going to do that now. I have ones that I use ghost hunting. I have ones that I even have one that I magnetize underneath my motorcycle in case my headlight goes out. It's
Wow.
bright enough and has a long enough burn time that I can click right on the front of my bike, and I have
That's
a
actually a
headlight.
great
So
idea. I never thought
yep,
about
that
that.
that O clip that I gave you, I
Yeah.
use that on my bike, and it is a strong enough magnet, and it is a great emergency light. But I now have like a sponsorship program with them, so I'm really hardcore promoting them, especially for Black Friday. If you go to my personal TikTok, and I'll send a handle for Christopher Lopez to use too for that too, you are going to see me flooding with reviews on each and every one of their flashlights. These are going to be ones that I own. I've purchased with my own money, so it's not. I only have a few that have been gifted to me from them,
Yeah.
but even then, like I feel strongly about their product, and I think that if you are a flashlight enthusiast, you need to dig into Olight. So go to olight.com. I highly recommend downloading the Olight app and putting it on your phone, because when you create an account, every single one of those that you purchase, you get points, and those points go towards rewards, and those rewards get you cheaper flashlights.
Yeah. And John, so let me ask you this one. Are you going to have a link for me to share with people when we put the
Yes,
on?
I'm
Perfect.
absolutely. I'm going to have a link. It's being generated now that is going to have a specific discount code for all of you guys to use, especially for those Black Friday sales. And I'll tell you, they have a very special thing that I can't exactly talk about with yet because I got a couple more days, but there's a beautiful stocking stuffer that's going to be in there that's going to be perfect for your hunters, your fishers, your mechanics, and your hikers. And it's going to be great. And you guys are going to love it. And it's going to be perfect. It's not too expensive. They got different options, colors, different. You can have them laser engraved. You can have them personalized with names, and like it just the list goes on.
I gotta say, guys, I don't know much about tech and all that stuff, even though I'm barely functioning a podcast because I try to learn. Jon introduced me to the Olight since the beginning, and I gotta tell you this: the stuff that he's presented to me, and I did a review with you, sent to you, Jon, as well in the video.
Yep, that'll be up here on our on my TikTok page, and then Christopher will be throwing that on his Bound to Truth page too, with a certain hashtags that I'm going to send you so that they know that it came from us.
Exactly. And I got to tell you this, it is the most legit light. And I got a bunch of flashlights here, and especially here in the PMW when we have blackouts and so forth because of storms and winds, and especially this time of year where it's getting darker, the light shorter. That light really works. I have chickens and everything, and sometimes I got to check them out at night. If there's any animals that are coming out to make sure they're okay. That thing is bright, and I don't have, and that's just the smaller devices that they have. They're not considering the bigger ones that are incredible. So I attested with Jonathan saying the Olight is the best light in the world. It's legit. It'll definitely put a light in your soul, I guess. Right?
Yeah. And honestly, you got to think something about a company that when we had a very specific hurricane that just recently hit and affected our United States. And I know that there was a lot of companies out there that did things and that did this and that, but during this time, especially during this darker time of year, there's something that the team at Olight realized was a problem, and there was going to be a lot of people without power, a lot of kids who were going to be scared, and a lot of people who are going to be scared of what was going on in the dark, because those areas, there's monsters that live in those waters that are there. There's alligators, there's sharks, there's Christopher Lopez, there's all kinds of things that come out at night in these waters. Wow. And I just have to say, $4.24 million worth of flashlights and flashlight products that they donated to the affected areas.
That's amazing.
To make sure that people had a light in this dark time. And that's just, to me, companies that do that deserve my time, and my time is precious. As you guys know, I have a lot of children. I got a lot of things going on in my life. So the fact that I'm taking time out of my day to promote this company, it means a lot to me, and I feel strongly about them. And I'm in love with their products, and you guys just got to go and see them for yourself.
Perfect. Before we move into the topic at hand, here's my slogan for them, Jon. You ready? Olight.
Your schlong?
No. Olight. Live your life in the dark.
There you go. I like that, actually.
That's actually
you know what? I'm going to start that on one of my hashtags, because I started the hashtag Olight or No Light, which is weird how none of them had that running beforehand.
Well, you can use both. You can use both. Yeah. I like that.
Oh, definitely going to
live your life in the dark. Right?
That's Christopher Lopez.
That's right. That's right.
Always in your closet.
Well, you're my inspiration too, Jon. You're my muse. How about that? All right, everybody. So we got a special nice episode today. We're going to be talking about Moongate. And you're probably asking,
not Moonhole, Chris.
No, we're not talking about Moonraker or the Michael Jackson. I forgot what's it called.
The Moonwalk.
Moonwalk. Yeah. We're going to be talking about Moongate today. But before we go there, I'm going to go kind of fast because we're trying to, make sure people don't fall asleep and get too bored. Unless you're like really hearing their voices. Yeah, there's a couple of news things I want to talk about that's coming out, and it's actually coming out tomorrow. So this is about the November 13th UAP hearing. Jon, are you ready? I'm going to read this out, okay?
Oh yeah.
Here we go. This is coming from News Nation, which I like this this independent news station. So please, everybody, subscribe on that to News Nation on YouTube. The House of Representatives has set a November 13th, 2024 date for the next hearing of unidentified anonymous phenomenon, UAPs, aka UFOs, with a witness list that includes former Navy admiral. The hearing follows one held in the summer of 2023 after whistleblower David Grush alleged the Pentagon has been operating a secret UFO retrieval program. held by the House Oversight Committees. The hearing, titled An Unidentified Anonymous Phenomenon, exposing,
Anonymous. Nope, that's the new word.
oh, good
Anonymous.
Lord, exposing the truth, that will begin tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Which Eastern time? Okay, got it. I'll figure out the time thing in the Pacific Standard Time. And
That's
one
the
witness,
opposite of Western.
yeah, now there's one witness, and I've hit a few of his pre-interviews with Russ Colhart and a few things, is retired Navy Rear Admiral Timothy Gallett. Oh, Gallaudet, excuse me, who has spoken about,
Yeah.
yeah, spoken about experiences with UAPs and explained submerged objects. A full, now this is a key one that's going to be interesting. A full witness list has not been released, and in previous hearings, witnesses have expressed fears of intimidation or stigma associated with speaking openly about UAPs. The Defense Department has reportedly denied that there are a secret UFO or UAP programs in existence, though it had admit to the plans for the Kona. Excuse me,
Sorry.
I've been
It was
sick,
the look on
everybody.
your face that did it for me.
I'm sure it did. Though they admit the plans for the Kona Blue program, which would have reverse engineered UAP technology. That's interesting. We don't have this existing, but we have this thing called Kona Blue program. According to the Pentagon, the program was never stood up because no such technology was ever recovered. Sure. So U.S. Navy Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet, who was formerly an administrator of the government's lead meteorological agency, told News Nation that he believes whistleblower David Grush's claims of secret UFO retrieval program run by the Pentagon. A report from the department's all-domain anomaly resolution, which is Office Arrow, right, said that the
Yep.
most UAP reports were cases of mistaken identity involving drones or top secret technology. Oh, shit, excuse me. The office said that there was no evidence that UAPs are alien in nature. Well, I can see that, but they're not saying it's not. Following last year's initial public hearing, a bipartisan group of lawmakers has continued to have closed door hearings of the subject, expressing frustration at the lack of transparency around UAPs. Recent reporting from independent journalist Michael Schellenberger revealed that existence of a whistleblower report that names for the first time an alleged Pentagon UAP program called, now this is interesting, John, the Immaculate Constellation.
Interesting. I did not hear what its name
The
yet.
Immaculate
I
Constellation.
actually did not. I purposefully did not dive in or dig into anything because I didn't want to go down any rabbit trails. I want to hear it straight from the horse's mouth tomorrow, and then that's why we're jumping on this now, because this moon gate and these phenomenons that they're going to be talking about, I absolutely 100% promise you that they are connected.
And I agree, and we're going to tie more
There's
into
no way
that.
that it's not.
Yeah, we're going to tie more into that too, regarding the moon gate, because of trying to understand what these beings are, and it could be one or the other, or maybe both, depending on the point of view, right, of
Yeah.
people, and that could be influenced by beliefs of how they're raised or just experience in life. So the individual whistleblower in that report has not been identified, and is not clear if they will be among the witnesses in the upcoming hearing tomorrow. So I'm hoping that witness. So here's the interesting thing. So we David Grush came out, and it's been over a year, and seeing how his life's been, I'm hoping there's been more whistleblowers that are going to come out that are going to be unidentified, that are going to be identified, that have not been shown, except for Timothy Gallaudet, and especially about that program. So with that being said, John, what's your hope-o-meter with this? What do you think, man?
Oh gosh, man. I hope that he is going to piggyback off of all the things that we already know, that we're certain of, that I'm certain of. And I know a lot of people will be like, well, how can you be uncertain of something that is just a theory? And the reason why I'm certain of that is, number one, my headphones just died.
That's okay. I can still hear you. And of course, everybody, we lost John. We were
What
doing
is
great tonight.
going on here?
Oh,
Guys,
we
I'm
got
having
you.
just a moment of technical. 1 second.
We're good.
Yeah, that was weird. As soon as I started talking about it, all of
Is
my
it
devices just
is it weird? Is it weird?
literally all of my devices just disconnected from my computer.
John, weren't we talking like 30 minutes before? Everything is fine.
Yeah, and I've had nothing. Full battery. Look at this. full battery on my headphones.
Wow. I see it.
And now they're just acting up. I'm going to turn it
Interesting.
off, turn it back on. But sorry about that, folks. So, anyways,
Oh, don't
so I'm
apologize.
just
Don't
going to
apologize. But it's good.
continue with being abducted by aliens while I'm sitting in my garage.
Mhm. So go back to the hope-o-meter. What do you think? What do you might expect? I know it's based on your experience personally, and just been with things that you know internally. Respect your privacy.
Yeah,
What's your
I
what's your
think
10 thoughts?
I think that we are going to enter an era where they are finally going to tell the world the things that we actually have, maybe. And I think that these whistleblowers are going to be the forerunners of this, obviously.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't want the government to tell the whole world what all of our secrets are, because it's a good thing that we have secrets as a country, as a military, and things like that. Because really, you go into a battle, right? I walk into a room and I know that I'm going to get into a fight, right?
Right.
And I walk in there knowing that there's 10 people. I walk in there with the idea of, okay, I've got these 10 people that I'm going to potentially get into a fight with. So I got my fists, I got my knife, and I got this gun that I'm hiding in my back pocket. But do you think I'm going to walk in there and tell them that I have those things?
And your balls.
Yeah, and my balls. No, I'm going to keep that a secret because I don't want them to know what I have. And I think the same thing goes for our US government. They're not going to tell us everything, but what I want to hear and what my hope is for this is that they're going to continue to tell everyone the truth, that we have contact with extraterrestrial entities, and that it's okay. Like, it's totally okay to be in contact with them. It's not going to freak anybody out. I don't think anything surprises anybody anymore. I'm not shocked. When I heard that there was another whistleblower, it didn't shock me, especially after the first. When I see these videos that are posted of these people seeing these phenomenons in the sky or these creatures on the ground where they're surrounded by police or this and that, it really doesn't shock me anymore, because the world we live in is more dramatic and more upfront with all the technology that we have, with the TikTok, with YouTube, with podcast, just the internet in general. Somebody can see something and share it with the rest of the world, and it's time for them to be more honest with us, because really, honesty produces trust. And the one thing that our country does not have with anybody, and I don't care what party you're from, I don't care what you are, if you trust your government, you are ignorant, because they have done nothing to earn your trust.
So let me ask you this, John. Regards to that, feeling, and also just your thoughts and potential belief and truth. How do you think today, especially, being a believer, with especially experience with exorcism and so forth, how does that translate with people when it comes to church and Christ and all that? Do you think it's going to cause a negative effect compared to,
Yes.
yeah, okay, so can you elaborate a little bit about that?
So I believe that there's going to be two sides. And the first side, actually, let me rephrase that, three sides. Well, so there's going to be three parts. The first part are going to be the people who are going to say, absolutely, it makes sense. They are gods. They are created by God. Two, there's going to be the second part of, or the second part of those, who are going to say they're demons or they're angels. Then there's going to be the third of them, where they're going to say, no, I still don't believe it. It can't be. It's not true.
Interesting. So
And you're going to have one and two who are going to be fighting with each other. You're going to have one who's going to be saying, no, they're aliens. God created them too, because he's created everything. And it says that he created all things in his image. They might just be a more advanced version of us. Now, there are some sects in the biblical world out there that believe that we're not the only of God's creations, that God created many other versions of Earth and people as experiments, like before reaching us. Now, it could also be that we just think that we're the top tier and we're not, and that God created us and we're just like the lab rats. There could be 1,000 others that he created, or a billion others. There could be an endless amount that he created in his experiment of creating living, breathing, intelligent creatures. There are people that believe that. There are people that believe that all forms of extraterrestrial and paranormal are either angels or demons. And those people will be fighting with each other tooth and nail. And
Okay.
then there will be the other ones who are like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's not real. Show it. Bring me one. Bring me one right now. You have to. I'm not going to believe it until you show me, because it is really hard to believe something like that when they're not going to show us things. Now, you whip out a spacecraft and a little green man and you let everybody come down and see ET and take a ride on his saucer, that is going to change people. You can't deny that. But is that going to happen? No, it is not. They're not going to do that. Now, they could. I don't think so.
Well, I think too that even if that was a possibility, and it's a potential possibility, right?
Yeah.
That we still might have people who deny in those things and still stick to those three things you're talking about. Now, here's the last question before we move on. What sect of the church is ahead of it?
Oh, you're going to make me say it out loud, aren't you?
I can say it for you and tell you my thought.
It's the Catholic Church, man. Like, if there is anybody that is privy on this information, if there is any form of religious organization that knows without a doubt what is going to be said, it is the Catholic Church, because they are more powerful than anybody can really possibly even imagine. The Catholic Church is not to be trifled with.
And I have to agree with that too, John, is because if we look at the testimony from David Grush before he went to Congress last year, back in June of 2023, talked about the first, besides compromising intelligence with the government, like with Roswell and so forth, talked about how there was a craft that crashed in Italy in 1933. And then, of
Yeah.
course, it was given to the Catholic Church. And then after World War II ended, I think it was Roosevelt was contacted by the Pope and pretty much gave it to us. They're pretty much like, we don't want anything to do with it. But I think the Catholic Church knows more about that, especially the last decade when Pope Francis and other few cardinals talked about how if there is intelligent life, we're going to welcome them as brothers in Christ.
Which should
Almost like an amendment to the belief in religion with Catholicism.
And in reality, that should be exactly how we should be accepting this. That it's 100% should be how it goes. There should be under no circumstances, because in the thought process of the church, 100%, they were created by God, in my opinion.
Well, I think it could be both these things.
Yeah.
And you can tell me if I'm on track or not.
Yeah, you are.
Is that created by God, but could it be, people talk about fallen Nephilim.
Created by God.
Exactly. No, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Created by God. Even if
that,
they are demons and angels, created by God.
Yeah, exactly.
Because are you going to argue and say that God didn't create the demons or the angels? Because it clearly states that he did.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting day tomorrow, everybody. I hope everybody watches that.
I hope you're all wearing your brown pants, because I'm really hoping that they're going to release some shit your pants type of information.
If they release an alien that looks like me, then God knows that I know where I come from. So
I have my pants pre-shit in case they do release one that looks like Chris. Because listen, guys, you don't want that.
No, you don't. Now the last thing before
although it would have to have some pretty amazing hair to keep up with you.
That's true. Oh my good. Okay, John's prepared for the alien invasion.
I just got a couple new toys that I'm getting ready for the aliens.
Just please don't shoot your computer. I need you on this podcast, buddy. Yeah. That's the closest to danger. That now I got PTSD. No, anyways, before we get to the moon gate, is there anything else you want to say regarding your message in regards to Alaska, or do you want to keep that like to the kip?
No, no.
Okay, fair enough.
That's not my business to say anything about. That was privileged information from people that I have their trust and their respect, and I was asked to, I can trust you and know that you're not going to say shit.
Nope.
Um,
I'm not saying creepy stuff.
that is things that could get, because it's a very select few people know that what just happened, and if that information gets out, that's going to trace right back to them, and you probably won't ever hear from me again, and you probably won't ever,
Okay.
their families won't. And yeah.
And if I needed to remove that, my comment, I probably should have brought that up before, and I apologize. I can't. And I removed it.
No, I mean, we could just like there's some things that got out there, and and those things are good, but just something, guys, do your own research. Something recently happened in Alaska, and it should not be ignored. And you guys should do your own research.
Okay. And that puts the pin on that subject.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now, everybody ready for Moongate? So
Moonhole.
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 So here's what I'm gonna do, John. I'm going to play a video. It's gonna be about it's gonna be 2 videos, by the way.
Yeah.
Regarding it. And let me get this up here and start doing a shared screen. Let me just open this up here. And boy, I haven't shared screen in a long time.
Yeah, not since that one time we're at band camp.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. You're a funny guy. All right. So
I'll be here all week, guys.
Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm gonna start sharing the screen here, and this is gonna be John, this is gonna be a video. It's gonna be the one you and I saw, but I think it'd be something important for people to hear. And you won't be able to see it, but you'll be able to pull it up if you look on YouTube from I think was it Funky Fathead is the guy. So here we go. I'm gonna pull it up here, and I'm gonna hit play. So everybody stay quiet, John, especially you. You ready?
No.
Okay, here we go. I'm hitting play.
I have an online tone generator set to 528. This is developed by Thomas P. Sinelski. Thank you, Thomas. I notice here it
Chris, you muted yourself and nobody can hear the video.
Okay, is that better?
You're gonna, yeah.
Okay.
525, and I'm about to show you what will happen with that. Things happen much quicker when you're using pure tones rather than the other stuff I was using on YouTube, which had like sounds mixed in with it. There we go. 528. And already you can see a much more stable fracture. I have to do this quick because the stuff does not last. 525. You can see there's a whole range of tones here, but 525, you're going to hear the fluctuation there.
Okay, here it comes. You see that, John?
I know you said see that. Were you supposed to be screen sharing with me?
I am screen sharing with you.
You're not.
Okay, I did screen share with you.
I'm here with an unshared screen. Oh, all of a sudden it just now popped up.
My bad.
This whole time I was like listening to it. I was like, this is cool audio. What am I? But
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've seen this video.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that, John. There we go.
No, you're good. Is that grandma's house? It is.
That is some pretty interesting. And look at the light on that. Look at that.
Yeah.
I do.
I'm no special effects expert. And I will never claim to be, because those people are literally magicians, and I don't even understand how the fuck they do that stuff. I can't even really figure out how to cut and splice a video together. Like, TikTok is the extent of my videos editing skills, and this just doesn't seem edited.
It doesn't, because you look at the light fragments and you look how things are like, it's so natural.
So
Right?
uniform,
Yeah.
and it's like the way that they're doing it. And I watched another video, and I wish I had it prepared for this. I wish I had known that this was the video you were playing. Oh, that was a loud bang.
Mhm.
But there was a guy who recreated this experiment and tried to recreate the lighting, and he was a special effects like expert. He was somebody, I think he worked for like Fox Studio. In the video he said what he worked for, and he even said he'd recreated it the best of what he could with his, $100,000 equipment and all kinds of crazy stuff that he has access to, and it didn't still. It You could tell that it was fake still in what he created, and he's like, in the original video, he's like, there's just something off about this video, and he's like, not off in like a fake way, but like, I almost believe that it's real.
Well, and if you look at the lighting too, the way it goes around like a sun, right?
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. And you can see it's pulsing towards the camera, right?
Yeah.
So this person, fat, or is it funky fathead, created some way to use frequency, a specific frequency, to open a portal with the device. And it's funny, I was telling John, I was like, we gotta do the same thing. And John pretty much said, we are not gonna do the same thing. We are not gonna do that because it's just way too dangerous. And this portal that's opening up is to supposedly Sedona. And John, before I play the next video, it's going to be actually on a Fox News report back in 2017, which you're going to find pretty interesting, because this is not just a YouTube video. They actually got a news avenue. Do you know anything about Sedona?
I
Oh, did I lose you?
No, one of my
Okay.
children was trying to come in and do weird
No
stuff.
worries.
So I don't know anything about Sedona in particular. I do know some information that I'm not going to share on the podcast. Maybe one day I can.
Okay.
But what I do know is the experiment that he is doing, there is a more scientific experiment for it, and it's called frequency dilation.
Okay.
And
Interesting. I
it
didn't think
is
about the dilation part, but go ahead. That's
and
a really
it
good.
is
Yeah.
used, weirdly enough. I used to use it in my old line of work. Biomedical engineering, frequency dilation is used quite often to manipulate DNA structures. And in that process, there are documented frequencies that you're not supposed to use because they're considered unstable. And those frequencies are actually blocked. Like, if you have a device, you would have to specifically create a device to produce these frequencies, and it's very hard to do. But like, there are certain things that you can't produce it. Even when you try to buy, like, let's use an RFID signal, which is because most people know what RFID is. As an example, let's say you have some form of hacking device, like a handheld one, like a Flipper Zero. Let's use that for example. Some people might know what that is. If you don't, Google it. You'll see on there when you get it that there are certain frequencies that are blocked, because those frequencies are known to be dangerous. And it literally says it is blocked because they are dangerous frequencies. And in the biomedicine field, they'll tell you because certain frequencies can actually alter your DNA structure and cause serious harm to you, like to your health, your well-being, to your surrounding areas. These frequencies can actually kill plants and animals and people. So frequency dilation, that's why when you're like, let's recreate this, I was like, no, nah.
Interesting.
I have no desire to accidentally scramble my DNA structure and turn into a puddle of goo on the ground, because it may or may not happen.
Oh no, it's interesting because that makes sense. I did when I brought that subject up, we're going like, hey, we should just create it. You're like, it's not like we're creating a vehicle, a new vehicle. They're talking about altering DNA. I did not know that.
Yeah.
But
You're altering DNA and potentially altering time and space as it exists. And as much as I know that you would love to stick your pecker in a wormhole, I don't think that's the kind of wormhole you're going to end up with.
oh my God, you talk about the ultimate glory hole.
The old glory hole.
The old glory hole. Jeez, man.
You should link that
my.
video.
That was great. So, wow, that is interesting. So let me go ahead and let me take the fuel, please.
I know you guys can't see this, but Chris has an unnerving amount of porn tabs up on his Google thing, and
oh my God,
there's like 1,240 tabs.
There's not. Oh my God, no. It's all my notes and research. And so nay, poo poo, stick your head in doo doo.
Pornhub is a weird place to take notes.
Talk about frequency. So, but that's interesting when you brought that up regarding the dangers of it, not just because of just opening up a dimension. You're talking about the alternation of DNA. You're talking about messing with time and all that stuff. And it's funny you bring that up because after I play the second video, I have some information regarding different frequencies and what they do, especially one particular frequency that you're going to be like, you may know or you may not know, but I think it's.
You want to know something? Is it the brown note?
I play that every day.
Quick little tidbit of information. Back, and I do not have the exact dates in front of me. So, does anybody ever kind of think about, man, whatever happened to those big glorious church bells on the chapels and the cathedrals and the everything in Germany and Rome, and why don't they have those? And where are the ones that were all in the churches during the revolutions? And well, there was a time in history where they went and they collected all of them and destroyed them. And their exact reasoning why is because the frequencies behind the bells were designed to heal, protect, and deter against medical issues, evil spirits, and promote mental and physical health, because the frequencies were known to create health. And so at some point there was a certain government agency that was out there that was like, well, we don't want people to be healthy, we don't want there's science behind this. And they went and they collected all of the bells that matched anywhere near these frequencies and destroyed them all. This, you can just simple Google search, you can go find all this information.
Wow. That is awesome. This is why I'm glad. That's wow. So this is something that's not new. This is something very
gosh. This is back to, oh good Lord, this is back to early Roma days. This happened during, I think it was slightly after the Crusades. Mm-hmm. That they were knowing, and that the experience behind frequency dilation really started, and it was surrounding bells. And then it was actually, I'll pull it up here real quick. I have a document saved here.
Well, why are you pulling that up too, John? Do you think that's also influenced a lot older when it comes to, again, stretching again, because that's how I do things, fallen angels, when it comes to tech, when it comes to gear, when it comes to weapons?
It was during 1939 and 1945.
Which is what?
The Germans started it. And there was specific Germans that started it.
Well, we know that Hitler was very huge. Hitler and Himmler were very huge in the occult. I'm sure they discovered something.
Himmler was the one who wrote the thesis, the new thesis that became an actual scientific fact. And I put that in quotes because science doesn't really have many facts on frequency dilation.
Wow. That's incredible. And by the way, researching this was not easy, because I'm sure because of the dangers of it and potential the benefits of it. So
and because Chris can't read, so it's really hard.
So I'm going to play you this next video, which is from Fox News regarding that video. This is going to be interesting. So hold on one second. Let me get it up. And let me record it back a little bit. And here we go.
Tonight, a missing YouTuber and his viral video. It's all part of a mystery centered around Sedona, Arizona.
Of course, the popular tourist destination that we all love and know, and it's known for its scenic beauty and shopping. But don't forget its mysterious side. Crystals and energy vortexes are a big reason why some people visit Sedona.
For science experiments, I would say so.
This is a YouTube video posted by someone calling himself Funky Fathead.
Be a much more stable fracture.
He says he's using a computerized tone generator to open a vortex, a portal in time and space.
Sounds so somewhere.
The video caught the attention of this man who posts videos from his home in England. He calls himself Hidden Underbelly.
He went on to experiment portals and sound frequencies.
Hidden Underbelly spoke to us via Facebook messaging after this video racked up more than 1 million views.
That in itself is pretty insane.
After he was unable to reach Funky Fathead, the video made news in the Daily Star, headlined, "Bloke Missing After Opening Portal of Time and Space in His Bedroom."
Open a portal to those where he is. Or to the fact.
You see, Funky Fathead hasn't been seen or heard from in 4 months. He did leave one clue, however.
That is, I do. It's in Sedona. Sedona is known for having it's one of the great tourist sites about it is that people try to go find these portals.
Sedona is known for its
Okay, John, thoughts that made local news. This is not some random.
That's
YouTube
the crazy
video.
part. Yeah, that's not just some run of the mill, backwoods newspaper with Aunt Jemima and Aunt Jessie pulling up their news report from their bathtub.
Yeah,
that's Fox that was like, yo, did you guys see what this guy did? And also he disappeared and we're talking about it, and then just disappears off the face of the earth. I would love to go to your house and set up one of my really high-tech speakers and do that frequency and then leave and then just watch your house collapse into a portal and watch your cat get sucked into the portal.
that's fine with me. That means I can finally get a dog. Okay.
Something. Yeah, this is one of the bags behind me just fell over.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, great portals.
I know. But that is interesting, right? He supposedly was able to open a portal to Sedona. And Sedona is really well known for its energy and vortex, especially with the natives there. So yeah, I mean, so he's been at the time, he's been still missing at the time for 4 months. And I'm not sure he's been discovered. Maybe he has. I have no idea. I couldn't find any more research on that. It's been more theory.
Yeah, it just kind of dies out.
It does. But what's interesting is that it made that news round. It was, YouTube still, at the time, 2017, even to now, still very prime. But this specific video made those rounds, which is kind of creating like, wow, this is a possibility, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got some information for you, right? So I'm going to read this and then I'll regarding tone frequency. And you can elaborate more to this because my mind, I don't have the mind like you do because you're a lot smarter than I am, but I definitely have different hertz frequencies that do different things. But I'll read this first subject.
Brown note.
No, not brown note. What is a tone frequency? Tone in acoustics, sound that can be recognized by its regulatory of vibration. A simple tone has only one frequency, although its intensity may vary. A complex tone consists of 2 or more simple tones called overtones. The tone of the lowest frequency is called the fundamental, the others overtones. That's a very vague explanation of tone frequency, but can you add to that with your mind with that definition?
I wouldn't say so to someone who is a man of science or even a sound tech.
Yeah.
Things like that. That is like reading a manual. Okay. And those certain things, the words that are in there, people are like, what the fuck? It's basically, it just sounds like it's a roundabout way of repeating itself. Yeah. So you have your tones that can create a certain frequency. Like this glass, I flick it. You hear that? That's going to continue to happen. I can change that. The tone can get different and the frequency will change. I can also change the intensity of it. But what I can't do is I can't take that same frequency and create a different tone with it. That is not exactly 100% true. That is where frequency dilation comes into. That is where you take that frequency, that specific frequency, and let's just call this A. And you take A, and A is only ever supposed to do A. But with using the process of frequency dilation, which is in a way the same type of process that you use when you collide particles together. Sound familiar?
It does. And I got notes on that too, buddy.
Yeah. And so you take that and you alter it. And what that's supposed to do is completely riff and rip the fabric of existence around it, because you are actually breaking the laws of known physics and science. Now, there is no real science behind frequency dilation because it's never been proven that it can actually really happen. It's only been proven that you can tweak it and move it, but it's still the same tone or same frequency. But you know how you have different frequencies and hertz and all those kinds of things, and there's millions and millions and millions of them.
Right.
And you can tune into them on a frequency in between this frequency. So you have this bar here that's this frequency, and all these different things are in there, but it's still the same frequency.
Well, so man,
it's being able to take that frequency and using all these different ones to alter that frequency in a way to create another one is what is potentially supposed to open up these rifts and these portals. And
well, here's the thing. Well, here's the thing too, is that if this hasn't really been investigated, supposedly, right?
Oh, it's definitely been. There's
okay.
science.
So then
there was a university in, I think it was either in Germany or it was in Sweden. It was in some European land that was completely dedicated to the entire process of frequency dilation and things like that. And they did countless experiments from the early 1900s up until I think 2005. I could be wrong. I'll try to find that information though. And when they lost funding and it went to another area because it was considered useless because they had literally discovered nothing.
So here's the thing though, is that I feel with this information, like it hasn't been really I mean, it's been researched supposedly, not as much,
but not researched.
Right. Like I think maybe because of this, if it's intense power, that
it's been researched, but there's no book on it.
Right. And I think that the government has some part of it in a way. Yeah. I mean, we look at Project Montauk and all this stuff when it comes to trying to open portals, and I think frequency is a part of it. So to move on from that, to kind of continue. So let's look at some of the examples of different hertz of tone frequency, right? So we'll start with this one. What is 888 hertz frequency good for? It is said to help you release negative energies you may be holding on to. If you're feeling stressed, anxious, or down, it can help you feel more balanced and at peace. This frequency is also said to help increase feelings of happiness and joy. Okay. The next one, 239 hertz frequency is related to openness and connection in human relationships. It's also to treat problems with family, between partners, between friends, or in social contexts. I need to remember that one. It encourages cells to communicate with their surroundings, creating harmonious relationships of understanding, tolerance, and love. And so now the next one, and I'm getting to the good one here in a second. This is the second to last one. Experiments have shown that exposure to music at 528 hertz has significantly decreased cortisol levels and the stress hormone and increased oxytocin. Did I say it right? Oxytocin. Thank you. The hormone associated with positive feelings leading to overall stress reduction. Here's the kicker. John, you ready for this? 666 hertz is is one of the angel frequencies commonly used in spiritual practices. Numerology adapts to believe this frequency helps your mind to fix the imbalance in your mental state. I just stated you a bunch of different frequencies. Which one stands to you a lot?
You know which one stands out to me a lot? 32,768.
And you're full of crap.
Google it. Google frequency 32,768.
Okay, you serious? Okay, 32,768 frequency hertz.
Yep. Hertz. HZ.
Okay. Okay. Is it a crystal oscillator? Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Okay. An extremely high frequency that we hear as a humming sound is also known as a sound bearer. It is the highest frequency that a human can. Whoops. Doesn't tell me. Okay, hold on. According to one research, listening to music at this frequency made people's brains more active in the regions connected to emotion and pleasure. In comparison to music at other frequencies, the music was determined to be less taxing and more calming to listen to. Am I on the right page? Or
you're on the right track, but there's something very specific that happens naturally and that produces that frequency naturally, and it's quartz. It naturally resonates that frequency.
Okay, crystals operate at low frequency, consume less power center. Okay. Let's see this one. So that frequency you're talking about, crystals operate at the low frequencies and consume less power than standard quartz crystals cost. While engineers are able to find many cost-effective solutions from cutting-edge manufacturers, the low cost of this hertz crystals are still beneficial when they are included in designs. Okay, so I'm trying to find a connection here. I'm taking steps to the right direction, but I'm still not understanding. Can you elaborate?
So quartz produces this specific frequency, this frequency that has healing, pleasure, power. It also
is this the quartz that people use to sell at their magic shops, or you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
No.
It's also in watches, laser diodes, medical machines, and quite a few. I could list probably 100 right now. Cell phones, cell towers, specifically 5G.
Wow.
It is also used in bell toning. It is also used in sonar.
No way. So what's the benefit and negative repercussions?
The benefit of it is that it has no, so it can only return its own frequency. So quartz cannot take on another hertz. It cannot absorb another frequency. It can only produce that frequency. So that frequency can be used to disrupt other frequencies. So in other words, it creates its own ultimate wavelength that cannot be disrupted. Can pass through whatever the fuck it wants: lead, steel, tungsten, walls, concrete, tinfoil. That frequency cannot be absorbed by anything other than itself.
So let me ask you this. Can that be produced, like for you, for example, if you have the tech, the gear, can you produce something like that? And if you did, what would you use it for? Or what can you?
God, I can produce that. Hold on. I got it here somewhere. I just need the. Oh, I do have it here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of where. I have a very disorganized desk right now, and
Jon and his what do you call it? The stones from Marvel, right?
I have the Infinity Stones. I have the Mind Stone, but it's in Chris's butt and he won't give it back.
Listen, my butt has a mind of its own.
Yes, it does. And that is why you can find him behind the Winco dumpster Wednesdays, 5 to midnight.
And I take Vimo now.
Calling it Vimo kind of makes it creepy. I think you should just call it Venmo and not make it creepy.
No.
Oh, here we go. Vimo. Here we go.
All right. Show it to me, buddy. What's up? Ah, yes, the finger, the famous finger. All right. So John's pulling something out of his bag. Hopefully it's not Heisenberg's crystal meth.
It is crystal meth.
Oh my goodness.
It is
Okay.
a crystal though.
All right.
I don't know if you can.
I can see it. So we can tell the viewers today. What are the
So I am holding raw quartz, and a lot of it. I have a lot of raw, unrefined, pure mined quartz.
so
So
can
I
you
can take a copper diode and I can attach this to that. I can take a speaker and I can run any frequency that I want, anyone, through the diode into the quartz, and what will come out will be 32,700 frequency.
no matter what, no matter what,
no matter what.
no matter what.
No matter what.
So what's the benefit of that? What's the purpose of using that?
If you can harness it and you can amplify within that frequency, remember, you can only produce this, but there's subs in between it, but it's still in this.
Right.
You can use that ultimate frequency to penetrate any surface with any level. Think of how Wi-Fi works. I'm sitting in my garage right now, which is concrete drywall, and there's multiple, and my router is very far away from me.
Because
that's pretty impressive technology, isn't it?
Well, absolutely.
Where do you think they learned that technology, Christopher Lopez?
So those gift shops regarding mediums are not wrong. It's old knowledge.
Old magic. It's old magic, bud.
Old magic for modern technology.
Exactly.
So
and they have adapted, and there was experiments where they learned these types of things, and they realized that there are certain things that you can't stop. You cannot stop. You cannot stop a 5G signal from coming into your home right now, no matter how hard you try.
So let me
you cannot stop. Yeah, I can scramble a cell frequency. I can jam a cell frequency. I cannot stop it from passing through your house. So even though you think you have stopped it, you think you have blocked it, it is still pumping through your body right now. So here's an experiment that I want. Well, you can't really do it. It takes a while.
No, but this actually, hold on. This actually
take a cell phone.
Yeah. So this actually, hold on. This actually makes sense because I've talked to somebody in the past a few years back. Is that, people talk about how, our government, right, uses Wi-Fi and all that stuff, and you can discover its secrets and all that stuff. Do you know when it comes to the deep, dark secrets, when it comes to deep state, they still use DSL, hardwire, right? So I'm wondering how much of these crystals, both private industries, you think of like Skylink with Tesla, Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, and other government contractors are using this, and how much massive, like how much would they need to do something like this? Am I asking the right question in a way?
Yes.
They have separate connections. Like we're using DSL because that's hardwired compared to something that we can produce Wi-Fi wise when it comes to using these crystal and quartz. I don't know, maybe it's outlandish, but anyways, so I mean, sorry, go ahead, but I was just kind of speaking out loud here.
Weirdly enough, I had a buddy of mine just message me about frequencies.
Okay.
So here's an experiment, and I'm sure you could probably find somebody online that does this.
Yeah.
I want you, well, you don't have to do this. If you take a box,
right,
Faraday style, and I put a Wi-Fi router in it, and I take a succulent and I put it in that box, and then I take a controlled box that has no signals running through it whatsoever, nothing parallel, nothing low frequency, high frequency, just the natural frequencies that come from our Mother Earth and that come from our natural surrounding areas. And I seal that one off. I do not water. I do not, because you know how succulent is. Fuck that one on my shelf. I think I forgot to water it, and this is the first time in 5 years I've watered it, and it looks like I water it every day. And so in a little less than 30 days, you're going to come back to your box. You're going to pull it over. Your controlled is going to look like a succulent. Your uncontrolled, that is going to be in a box with a Wi-Fi router, it will be dead.
Hmm.
And this experiment has been done, proven, tried 100 different ways. Every single time, the one that is exposed to wireless frequencies like Wi-Fi, standard Wi-Fi, what you have running in your home right now, what I have running in our home, will kill plants, will kill biological and organic material. I just feel have adapted in some way, but I feel very strongly about these signals and these frequencies and how they run and how they promote health and we don't have any of those around today. We don't have those ancient church bells that literally scientists create them because they were meant to ward off evil spirits and promote health in their towns. That's why they would ring them every hour on the hour.
Wow.
And now what we have is we have Wi-Fi, cell, satellite, byway, GMRS, all kinds of other radio frequencies and things like that. And they are everywhere at all times. If you could see like in front of you and see those sound waves, you literally wouldn't be able to see in front of you. There are so many passing by you and over you and around you at all times, 24/7, 365. It is no stop unless the entire planet's power were to shut off. And even then we would still have some frequencies coming from our satellites that are literally beaming down.
So are you seeing these quartz are like pretty much the bouncer when it comes to frequencies, when it comes to power? And that's interesting you say that, because
we charge it with the moon and we charge it with the earth and we charge it with the water. We don't charge it with a cell phone.
It makes sense why it would affect our DNA. I could totally see what you're saying with that. And you know what, too, to go to a little deeper rabbit hole behind that, is that with our adventurous, like ghost adventures, excuse me, that's copyrighted, our ghost hunts, right? I'm wondering how much that is influence and how much that is their natural quartz in regards to our area that can influence that, either making it worse or stronger. Is that a possibility too?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would say yes.
God, dude, this rabbit. Oh, it's cool but frustrating at the same time. It's almost like you discover a truth, but then you got to figure out, like, okay, if we're doing this, is there any quartz around messing with our tech? It's, you know what I'm saying? Like, God, oh my goodness. Wow. But yet it sounds like that the powers to be know how to harness it in different waves.
And I believe that they learned those from,
yeah.
and like pulse generators.
Yeah.
They don't technically exist, but I think that they do, because I mean, if that it's running off of a frequency. We have that kind of technology because they have, oh no, actually no, that uses microwaves. Never mind.
But hold on.
I was going to use an example and it was an improper example.
Well, here's an example. It sounds like these quartz are being used by the higher powers, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like it's like gunpowder, right? You can use a little bit of gunpowder here to shoot.
And it's cool. That's all right.
Yeah.
You use a lot.
You can use a lot, you can use a little, but it's like, hey, we'll give the society, the people, the little gun to do the things when it comes to internet connection, all this stuff. But when it comes to the big guns, they're not gonna see it coming.
Just a little taste of what the technology we have. Just a little bit of this. Guys, look what you can do. You can have wireless technology. You can search the entire interweb.
So
your pocket.
So that's interesting too, because I'm wondering, and this is going to be another research by either of us, is how much natural quartz is in Sedona? Limestone, quartz. If that
limestone, guy, I know of limestone. I don't know about quartz. I mean, it could be a massive deposit. The last like significant quartz deposit that they had, I mean, there's quite a few that are out there. Like I went and mined this quartz myself, and you can go and do that stuff, but
this is such a rabbit hole, man, that you brought.
It really is. It's a deep one. And I think we opened up definitely more than what we can handle tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What it really kind of, to wrap it up, what it really comes down to is there are powers that are beyond our comprehension, and those powers belong or don't belong, that are here, and there are experiments that can unlock these, and there's reasons that they can't produce things that control these frequencies, and they refuse to produce them, and they won't allow it, is because if they do, someone might accidentally stumble upon the same type of technology like what they have, like opening up a fucking portal to the other side of. Imagine if he had done that on a big scale, and he had walked through that portal and been over in Sedona and then walked back. At that moment, that guy had just created technology that could cripple any country in the world.
Well,
Imagine what
cripple
you could do
gas.
if you could open up a portal into the
Yeah.
Kremlin right now and walk in there and steal their secrets, or into the White House, or into whatever the fuck North Korea calls their secret places. Imagine being able to just reach through, grab what you want, and never even have to leave your chair.
Well, and it's another source of free energy, right? Because if it comes to goods and services, you wouldn't have to depend on gas, right? You want to
Yeah,
even depend
exactly.
on electricity, which honestly is driven by coal and fuel, which is kind of funny, which I tell people, I'm like, well, you can go free energy at once, still going to depend on coal and fuel. But that would destroy a lot of businesses, which can cripple a market per se. And you know what I would say? Let it readjust it. You have a responsibility for taking advantage of people's pockets. Now it's your job to fix it and make it right with people.
Exactly.
Okay, God, you know
So
what?
guys,
Yeah.
immediately go down to your local witch store, grab yourself a bunch of quartz, because I will tell you there are healing properties with it. And really, I
Yeah.
think that there is a reason that they are used. There's a reason that that's used in technology. There's a reason that these frequencies are used, and they're not for your benefit. They're to keep you sick.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm super healthy because I got a pocket full of quartz. I mean, some people carry pocket sand, and if you know what that's from, we can be friends. Yeah.
I guess we're not friends because I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Pocket sand.
Pocket sand I call is dandruff.
No, Google it. It's funny. Um,
No, I'm not going to Google it because they're going
Yes.
to a site that's so bad. I'm like,
YouTube it.
Okay.
Yeah, not pocket pussy, Chris. Pocket
Oh my
sand.
God. All right. We've spent a lot of time here, so I'm going to ask a few questions before in the show, and this is going to be your opportunity to elaborate. So here's the question from
Answer
everything.
the question A, fuck you. Question B, fuck you harder.
It's not a multiple choice, John.
Oh, damn it.
I know. So here's one of the questions. I'm going to skip one of them. Matching the frequency of hertz and music that can match and map different parts of the galaxy to travel as well as time travel, like a cosmic coordinates. Is that a possibility? Right?
They send frequencies in space instead of messages. They send frequencies that carry messages inside of the frequencies.
And each planet and each part of the galaxy, we recorded the moon sound, we recorded the earth sound, other galaxies. Is that a way to create frequency to, I call, cosmic coordinates, right? We have coordinates on earth where it comes to 1 degree to the next degree. Is that a possibility?
I would say if you learn to, we'll use light travel as an example. If you learn to navigate those frequencies, you could potentially use it to teleport. This specific spot we have tested and produces this frequency.
Yeah.
I'm going to open a portal to this frequency.
Yeah.
The specific one. And you're going to go there. You're going to go to the moon. You're going to go to Jupiter. You're going to go to Alpha Centauri. You're going to go to Beta, whatever the fuck it was called.
Right.
It's plausible. It's very plausible.
It's very plausible, but it's almost like we have to go the hard way to find out the frequency unless we find out other ways. Now,
that's the thing is we either have the ability to do it and we're not talking about it, or we are waiting for somebody to give us the handbook on frequency dilation transportation.
Oh, I believe we can do it.
Good band name.
That is a great name. That is actually a great band name. Here's the next one. Does our government are aware
Steal our money? Yes.
and have tech to use frequencies to affect people and behaviors? Example, TV, popular music, movies, etc. Does the government have that tech to influence us in every different aspect when it comes to ringtones, when it comes to YouTube videos, when it comes to movies, when it comes to TV shows, and those aspects. That there's frequencies that they're so low that we're not understanding. You talk about changing genetics and affecting our genetic DNA. Is that a possibility?
Let me reach up into your throat here through your asshole and remind you of something that happened just recently.
Go for it.
Our government tested a new worldwide or US wide emergency response network system not long ago, where they did one of those emergency broadcasts. This is just a test. Now, in their article, and what they said is, during this time we will be testing a new frequency. They said, your phones, and this was like, you couldn't stop it. They said, if your phones are on, it will emit this frequency. And I was like, excuse the actual fuck out of me. I locked up, I went out, I Faradayed, we bunkered down, and I waited for the zombie apocalypse, because they said that they were going to forcibly create frequencies that was going to come through everyone's cellular devices, electronic devices, TV, Alexa devices, phones, speakers, internet capable, like all of it was going to produce this new frequency that they were testing out.
Wow.
Yeah, and that just happened like a few months ago.
We're on the right page here, man. Jesus. Okay, so that confirms that it is happening. Now, the other question is, does CERN, in addition to colliding particles, use frequency as well? And I believe you already answered that question.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they also use their balls to collide with your face at high speeds. You didn't even see that one coming, did you?
Oh, I did not, but I was good. But you answered that question earlier, but go ahead.
Yeah, I did, and I see why you're like, oh my God, yeah, I have something about that. Yeah, I think all of it, frequency dilation is so much deeper than what anybody could ever possibly imagine. I don't even understand it. I have very limited knowledge because I'm a very scientific individual, and my mind has always tended towards the air of science, but I've never dedicated my mind to one aspect of it, because I believe that having a little bit of understanding about everything, or as much of everything as you possibly can, is smart. Knowledge is power, and power keeps you safe, whether it's power and strength or power and knowledge. And knowing what you're dealing with and fighting against is the number one key to surviving. We are living in a world where our government, not just our government, all governments are lying to their people, and they are doing everything in their power to control the narrative and to keep people docile, sick, and compliant. Because if and I said this in a podcast not long ago, I think we were talking about the elections or something, or the assassination attempt on President Trump. I say, if all of us citizens unitedly got up right now, gathered arms, and went and overthrew our government, they could not fucking stop us. There are way more of us than there are them. And everybody's like, oh, they got tanks, they got this, they got that, blah, blah, blah. People will fall in line when they realize that they're outnumbered.
Okay. And I'm going to skip this question. I'm going to leave this on a side note with you. Remember the Miami incident that happened?
Oh, yeah. Miami.
Do you think that somebody like this guy, Fathead, opened a portal for these beings to come in using frequency dilation?
I think that they use it themselves.
Okay. Interesting.
Not that he opened a portal. I think that the ability for those portals are already there, and he just happened to potentially tap into one of them.
Wow. I got to tell you this, man. Shocked, but not surprised.
Shocker, not Spocker?
No. But you and I in our conversations, which I love how we feed off our information and research to come up with these great theories that are very plausible. That's what I like about our conversations. They're not wackadoodle. They're very plausible ideas.
I would say they're definitely a little wackadoodle, because if anybody listening to us, I hope that people think that we're batshit crazy, because we probably are.
It's a possibility, but there's
hey, do some research yourself and find out that I can't prove these things to you, and if I can, I will not be that person that I will flood. I will come to your house if I have proof, and I will show it to you if I can ever prove any of my theories.
John has showed it to me naked.
Yeah, that's weird. But yes,
It is weird.
Chris broke into my house and into my shower, and it was weird.
And I said, give me a frequency, please.
And I gave him one. It was the no. And he shit himself.
Oh my goodness. No, but on a serious note, I definitely love how we talk about. It's funny how we take this topic from one video, right, and able to just expand on it with really cool ideas and theories.
And everything comes back to fucking CERN every time.
Oh yeah, and it's funny. Like when you brought it up earlier, and I was thinking, I talked about CERN. Like it has to be, right? It can't be just particles. It has to be frequencies as well. And if you think about this too, if you look at the Battle of Jericho, what do they do
Yeah.
the whole time? They just play the trumpets.
Yep.
And they screamed.
Great sound and chaos and playing trumpets. Don't even get me started on the benefits of trumpets.
God, we're gonna hold that for another episode. But that's the point I'm trying to make, is that there's even some biblical references to that, which is interesting. How sound does that, and how frequency does that, and how it's so ignored. And if people listen to music on a basic level, when it comes to jazz, like if you were listening to Ghost, right? We're feeling pumped, we're feeling rocking. But if I'm listening to Phil Collins or all that stuff, I feel calm. I want to have some wine, even though I hate wine.
Are you telling me that you don't get pumped when you're listening to Phil Collins? Because I want to fight wars with bears.
You know what? That's called therapy. That's a different.
It just might be batshit crazy. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true too. All right, everybody, we're gonna end the podcast because we talked quite a bit late tonight, and John's got 20,000 kids that he doesn't know about. Again, how can you reach us? Sorry, gosh, how can you reach us to talk, to ask questions, concerns, comments, and just be a podcast a guest in the podcast potentially? Bound to Truth 34 at gmail.com. But definitely message us also on Bound to Truth on Facebook as well as on X. And also definitely hit the subscribe button to YouTube.
And if you guys reach out to me on Facebook, I'll give you Chris's personal phone number.
Please do not. So YouTube, Buzzsprouts, jeez. My goodness, you just cut me off. Apple, Spotify. Definitely hit the subscribe button. Your platform is yours. And again, John will give me the link to
Pornhub.
Oh my good Lord, there's no point. John wants that to happen. He's trying to manifest.
I just think it would be funny if we just opened up like a page on there and it was just nothing, like guy gets fucked by the truth, and people go to look at it thinking that, and it's just us talking about aliens.
You know what? I just had this terrible image that it'd be you and I, right? There's a fire, like this giant fireplace, right? Those fireplaces. And then you and I sit on opposite sides, you on the left, me on the right. We're in a red robe smoking a freaking pipe. And while people in the middle are totally having sex, and we put it on Pornhub saying, we're going to talk about our podcast today. Ignore the people having sex.
It's some, what was that guy's name that did, oh gosh, what was his name? He was way back in the day. He had basically like a sex podcast.
I don't know. You know more than I do.
He was real famous. He had real long curly hair. Gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Somebody somewhere knows what I'm talking about. If you say
it's me, I'm gonna beat your ass.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't you. It was a. Wow, I'm digging back into the '90s. Anyways, but he had this like phone line televised thing too, and one of his things is he would bring like porn stars on and things like, and he would just be sitting there while they're doing weird stuff.
Oh God,
talking about whatever.
Here's me.
Somebody somewhere remembers this from the 90s.
Here's me. Hello, my name is Chris J. Lopez, and I'm here with Jonathan.
Jesus Christ,
Jonathan. I don't know his middle name, Hershey. And don't mind the people having sex in the middle.
Yeah. We're here to talk to you about aliens.
Aliens.
Can you guys keep it down over there?
Good Lord. Please, we're trying to be professionals here. My God. How dare you? My good Lord. But anyways.
Howard Stern.
Oh God. Okay, I have to pull that up. But
came to me in a dream.
How I'd burn. Oh Lord.
Howard Stern.
All right. And before we end it, let's talk quickly afterwards. I know you're busy. Jon, don't forget to send me that Olight information. Again, Olight, everybody, is a great light for many purposes, both small and big for your adventures. I know Jon's going to make a
Some
joke.
of us huge.
Yes. But Olight is amazing. I can testify to it, especially where I'm at in Washington, as well as Jon with his ventures and so forth. So no matter what you do, if it's ghost hunting, take care of your animals, and also just you're lost, God forbid, lost in the woods, Olight will take care of you, man.
And if you are going to get lost in the woods, I highly recommend the Array 2. Insane battery life.
Exactly. I agree with that. And that thing is amazing. So everybody, have a great night. This is Jonathan, Hershey, and I saying good night and see you on the other side.